Go work for someone else, pussy. Your accountant, their job is to answer your questions. But if you ask them a question, what do you think? Like the worst advice in the world.
Peter Savage, founder of Savage Money, turned a bold vision into a rapidly growing finance business.
I got no property in my name. They're all in trust companies and we rent. I practice what I preach.
But his success began humbly, shaped by challenges, setbacks, and determination.
I was working in a box factory.
I was in a relationship I didn't like. And I was looking around and like, every here's fucking fat, miserable, divorced. How the fuck do I get out of this?
Seeking growth, Pete took a bold step and connected with Mojo.
It was pissing down with rain and you rocked up on a motorbike. I want to build a business. I want to get out. I don't know what I want to do. And I said, look, you need to come to Thrive Time. And you looked at me with this like, yep, let's fucking do it.
And then I literally went home, got divorced, quit my job and started a business.
And shape who he is today.
I set a goal of 30 million, which some people said a normal broker doesn't do that, and we're on track to do that probably this month.
What are the most common things that you see working in finance that people come in with that essentially is going to keep them broke most of their lives? Brother, you've taken up golf. Now, one of three things is happening. You're either going to turn pro at golf, you've either scaled your business enough where you can actually leave it for multiple hours per week, or you've given up on life. Which one is it?
I don't know if that's a defining factor because I know a lot of people who don't have any time and they play golf all the time. But
Really?
I put it down to the goal was I quit golf to start the business. I went all in. And then 4 years later, I joined back up at a golf club. So off the tools and back on the course. So that was like, that's the win. Like I gave it up. I loved it. And then I'm like, I joined back up and I can go play.
I never knew you played golf.
That was pretty good.
I didn't think you'd have the patience for it.
I don't.
Okay.
Just like when I play pool, I can't do soft hits because I just want to smash the around the pool table. When I play golf, every shot has gone, this would look pretty cool if I do that. But I don't play to the next shot. So I'm always like constantly just fighting myself. Like if you just chip it out, you get a nice shot at the green. I'm like, nah, fuck that. This will look killer if I do it.
I'm a bit more like Happy Gilmore, just tap it in and then getting frustrated with it because that's why I don't play golf.
The best way to explain it is golf is like crackheads for adults. Like it's once you get addicted, you go out, you have one shot, you'll sit there and chase that ball for the rest of your life just for like that one shot when you chipped it in and it gets in, you're like, fuck yeah. You just chase that for the rest of your life.
Oh, I can't handle it. Mate, now you've been part of the community for a long, long time. And I remember the first time we caught up and you rode in on your motorbike. I'd never met you before. And this dude rocks up. I think it was pissing down with rain. And you rocked up on a motorbike with your jacket on and everything like that and walked in. And I just still remember that first conversation of like, you're working at a box factory and you said, look, I want to build a business. I want to get out. I love property. Like, I don't know what I want to do, how I want to do this and how it's all going to work. And I said, look, you need to come to Thrive Time. You looked at me with this like, yep, let's fucking do it. And I think you literally said like, let's fucking do it. It was like 2 seconds in and then we just got food and ate and we've been mates ever since.
It doesn't matter what you're going to sell me, I was buying it. I needed to get the fuck out of 100%. What I was like, whatever this aren't selling, I'm buying it. Because I was like, right, I just needed to get out of where I was. I needed to do something else. I needed to get the fuck out of that factory. And like I was the first person, I didn't even have a fucking business.
You're the only person who didn't have a business who ever joined Odyssey.
I know. When you told me, I'm like, I didn't even have the money. I'm like, yeah, cool. And you're like, I did that. And like, I reckon when I bought Thrive Time and then you're like, this is Odyssey. And I was like, yep. You're like you were just like, you didn't even think about it. I said, yep, I'm good. I'm thinking I don't even have the fucking money. I'll figure it out.
Well, so tell me that decision-making strategy, right? Because that isn't something that most people have. So run me through where you go from you're working in a box factory, you're riding up on your motorbike to catch up with me. How did you come across our stuff in the first place?
I reckon it was LinkedIn.
No shit.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
You're like the only person who I've ever spoken to on LinkedIn that I actually like. So what happened?
The weirdest thing is like, what the fuck was I doing on LinkedIn?
I don't know. Now we're both confused. This podcast is over.
No, because that's like, and then I found you on the socials. And at the time, like I didn't know a lot of people in business because I was probably, late 20s. I knew a few people it wasn't stand out that business was the way to go. Like there wasn't around me. There wasn't much success around me. Didn't really know any people who were doing well in that space. So it was kind of like, I was just trying to look for a means to an end. I was like, how do I get out of this? You know, I worked out easily. I worked out pretty quickly in the factory. You know, it's like as soon as I do something, I try to calculate how far I can go. And I did it with my business. I do it with everything. And it's like, if I work in this factory, you know, I was 18 and 6 figures, cool. bought a lot of property. But then I was looking around and like, every here is fucking fat, miserable, divorced. They all got big mortgages, big homes. No one's life's any different. It's just the same amount of zeros. So I worked that out pretty quickly. And I, well, how the fuck do I get out of this? And that's where I was like, oh, I need to create a business to make money that's not tied to how long I need to be in that factory. So I knew like there was this gap between yacht rich, fucking houso. There's a gap in between, and then there's a line when you work for someone else. I said I needed to get to the other side of the quadrant, like in Rich Dad Poor Dad. I needed to start a business. But coming from, didn't finish school, worked in a factory, worked in another factory, worked at Woolworths. I think I got sacked out of all of them, except for fucking Vizzy. I was like, I didn't know what skill set I've got. I said, I don't have any skills. Like I was like, what am I even good at? So like trying to fill the gaps in, but I knew it had to be around property. I was obsessed with like property. Wasn't obsessed with property. I was just obsessed with the fact that you could borrow money to buy an asset that's 8 to 9 times more than the money you put in. So like I knew like the math to get there, and I was like, well, how do I make money and then turn it into something that could produce capital growth over a long period of time? So I was like, it's like, it wasn't a decision just to go sign up to that. I was like continuously moving towards something that's going to get me the outcome. Like you say it all the time, like a petri dish, you know, like you put something in there, you move away. Like I was just trying to gravitate towards things that are going to make my life better, you know, better role models, better, more influence, you know, people that have got goals and aspirations. Like the closer I can get to that, if I'll 100% pay money. Like you see people now that spend $500,000 to hang out with someone else. Like there's that person has something they want to get. And like how many people I know that have come through fucking Odyssey, and they'll come in and I'll sit there and they're all writing down, they're like 2 days in, they're like, you're not writing anything down. I said, nah, I don't write shit down. They're like, why? I said, I come here for 1 or 2 things. Like I get 1 or 2 things and it will change the trajectory of my business. And that's something that you've always said as well. Like if anyone knows Mick, he fucking repeats himself over and over and over again. And I know why now, because you can hear the same thing at multiple times through your journey. And then one day it just fucking clicks. You're like, oh, I get it now.
But you've said 2 different things that define success, which is why I think you're such a high performer in the community. Like I look at you over the last, how long have we known each other now? A couple of years, 3, 4 years?
Nah, see, fucking
It was after COVID though, wasn't it?
I actually quit Vizzy 4 years ago on July 11th. So I was probably 5 years because I've been in business for almost 4 years.
So in 5 years, you're working at a box factory, you rock up on a motorbike, you're telling me about all the shit that you want to change in life, and then you were telling me about,
how chaotic was I as well?
Yeah, you're pretty mental.
To sit here, like I'm fucking like, I was like jittery and fucking like just
Well, you're in a relationship as well that you were previous marriage, weren't happy in that marriage. And I don't think it was because there was anything wrong with your ex. It was just that you guys weren't aligned with where you were going and all of that type of stuff from memory.
I wanted everything in the world, and like, you know, it's just, it was the wrong environment.
Yep.
Might be fine for someone else, but not for me. So I was like, I needed to get out of that. Because also I wasn't the best version of myself. Because I know that, because like when my cup wasn't full, like I had to go to a job I didn't like, you know, I had to do overtime. I couldn't go to the gym. Like everything in my life I was like, wasn't working in the right direction. And then I discovered more of that when I started to do what I want, because when I started to actually have my business, when I filled my cup up with certain things, it overflowed into other areas that I'd neglected. So I was like naturally like moving towards the right thing. But like you said, it's what defines success. I think I always say, I want it more than everyone else. Like that comes down to it. If someone goes, this is going to solve your problem, and it's X amount of money, and that person goes, I've got the money, I don't want to spend it. How bad do you want it? For me, you know, housing trust seemed real, like, you know, I didn't have any adversity. Like we just didn't have a lot of money. And I was like, well, money was a pain. There was never enough money. But that kind of taught me like, oh, I need to change that. So like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have like jam sandwiches, you know. I see my son come home and he doesn't eat his lunchbox. I think, you have no fucking idea what I had to eat. So I would have loved that lunchbox. So one day I'm going to send him to school with just a fucking jam sandwich in there and nothing else, and go, how does that feel?
What do you reckon he's going to tell you when you go pick him up in the Audi with the new exhaust system on it?
He's starting to click on a little bit now. Oh, actually got me really good the other day, because obviously mortgage broking, social media, I'm on my phone a fair bit, probably sometimes when I shouldn't be, but he's picked up on it. And then he goes, how much money you got, Dad? I said, what does it matter? He goes, hey, buddy. He's like, how many?
All right, we got the dog in the podcast.
He's he makes good content. He's like, I said, I don't know, I could buy whatever toys I wanted. He goes, well, can I buy them all? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, why don't you just get your phone out and make some money and we can buy some toys? I was thinking, fuck, you got me, motherfucker. So, you know, he's starting to piece it together. But then you're like, when you're at this point, you're trying, how do I instill those kind of things in someone who doesn't understand the pain of not having anything? So like a whole different chat. How do you not raise spoiled brats? So it's a new problem to have, I suppose.
Well, we'll come back to that because there was two keys that I wanted to mention before, because I think this is actually there were multiple critical things that were really important that I think anyone who wants to achieve greatness, I look for. One of them was, most people come to events and they sit there and they go, I don't have enough knowledge. Therefore, if I write down everything as much as I fucking can, then that will help me. And I need to remember everything. But the problem is that they never remember everything and it's never enough, but they're always the people who never have enough, because that's their psychology, right? It's never enough. I don't have enough knowledge, don't have enough time, don't have enough money. And so they're always like, they're the people who try to like overconsume shit. Whereas you sit in our events and you're like, yeah, I just need one or two things. And I like it. 1 degree of change changes the whole flight path.
That took years because I used to be that guy, and I've worked out it comes down to like the particular
activating system. Yep.
So I remember when I used to read, I struggled to read books because I couldn't retain knowledge. It's because it wasn't fucking important. And when I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad in my early 20s, I read the thing front to back and I remembered everything. So I realized you only consume what's important to you. So, you know, for me, it was success, money, business, anything financial I can absorb. If you give me a fucking anything else, I can't fucking, I read it, get 3 lines down and I forget. So when it comes down to consuming knowledge, you can sit there and go through the whole thing and you remember nothing. It's because it wasn't relevant. And I think Toby Pierce said this, you got to be, what's the word? Intentional with your learning. So if you have a problem, go find a book to solve that problem. Don't read books on everything. Try and get an idea, because like I can read a book or I go to Odyssey or do anything like that. I hear one thing and I associate it with the problem I have, problem solved. Like you've got to be looking for the solution to your problem. If you don't know what your problem is, that's what you should be starting with, not trying to learn knowledge for no reason. That's like someone going, oh, I want to make money and grow wealth. They're trying to do fucking e-commerce, drop shipping, Forex. They're just spreading all this shit everywhere without dialing into one fucking
property.
thing. They're just, that's what I mean. They're spreading themselves out. So at the start, I was just trying to consume all the knowledge, which kind of tied into the process. But over the years, it started to get, also got better at asking better questions for myself. And analyzing what is my problem and solving it. So it took a long time to get to that point where I could just sit there and go, I don't know, just days out and go bang, boom, and I'm going to do that.
Well, this is what I explain in the events, right? Because I think what happens is people go, like, they'll ask a question, they're like, how do I build a house, right? As an example, and this is how people consume knowledge, right? How do I build a house? And then they go, right, I'm going to start with the foundation, but what are we putting on the roof? And you're like, what do you mean? Like, let's just lay the concrete foundation first. Well, what tap fittings are we going to put in? Well, I don't fucking know. Like, let's lay the foundation first. They're always trying to bounce between like the steps of how something gets built. And I think that's why most people are confused all the time. They're overstressed because they actually don't know what brick they're trying to lay. Whereas when I learned through my own journey is when I consume knowledge, all I'm thinking about is like, what's the brick? And it's that piece of knowledge that I just need right now. So I can read a book and go, there's a brick and it's 2 chapters in. I put the book away. Whereas a lot of people sit there and they're like, yeah, but why didn't you read the whole book? Well, because I didn't need to read the whole book. I just got the brick that I needed. I put it in and then now I'll go read another book to find the next brick. And eventually you end up with the whole house. That's
bang on, because I've just did this recently. So as I transitioned off of the tools, I realized that now I have 3 brokers. I need to be able to build the business, not as Savage Money. So I was like, I need to learn ads because I've never done ads. I've just done boosting it and it's always worked. We don't have referral partners. I said, well, I don't even know how to build an ad. So I went and did that Where You With You, where they teach you the basics of a meta campaign and a landing page. Went and did that, built it. I always will plan to outsource that, but I said, I can't do something I don't understand. So I went and did the course, I built the landing page, I built the thing, and then I'd never played with AI before. Got Claude, got Cowork. I asked it, I taught it. I taught myself how to ask questions. It duplicated my campaigns and landing pages, and I've put multiple reels. And now I've got it, watching my videos, transcribes them, and then it designs the copy for everything and does it like, cool. I played with that for a few days. Now I get it. Now I'm like, all right, I'm going to test it, and then I'm going to find someone else to do it for me. Like, I had a problem. How do I fix it? I need to learn. All right, now that I know how to do it, that took ages. How to do it quicker? I'll try AI. hey, AI, can you build it? Duplicate it, fucked it up, try again, did it again. And I just, one thing at a time till I get closer. And it took about 3 weeks. And now I'm here and now the ads are running. I've got 2 different running, up the spend. It looks good. Now I'm like, cool. Now I'm probably going to find someone else to do this. I just needed to know how to do it. But it was just like, I need to know how to do it so I can create more content, but there's a machine there. So I was like, that was the thing. I said, I need to do this. Now I need to do this. And now I've done that. And
That's such a awesome reinforcement for what I teach at Odyssey as well, because a lot of business owners will come in and they're like, well, I want to grow my business. And I'm like, business growth is like an extreme thing, right? And then they'll start listening to something about sales and they go, yeah, but I don't need to do sales, right? Because I'm a plumber and I've got, I don't need to learn sales because I've already got enough work. And you're like, yeah, but you will. And then next time they come, they might learn like AI or marketing or branding. Yeah, but I don't need that now. But you will. And then all of a sudden you get to a point where you're like, shit, I've got all the notes for it, and you go back to it. And even if you're delegating, because you said something really important, that is you can't delegate that which you don't know. And most people try to do things, but they get screwed. Like I lost probably a couple of $1 million in marketing because I didn't know what I was doing with marketing. And so I'd hire marketing agencies. We would run campaigns for ages, churn through cash. I would fire them, try to do bits and pieces myself. I'd shit at it. And then all of a sudden, like I'm hiring another agency and we would just churn cash. We'd get some results, but pretty shit. And it wasn't until I learned marketing. Now I can sit with somebody and they'll talk, we can do this. Yeah, but what about this? Oh, well, no, can you do that or not? Well, we can't. All right, cool, somebody else. And so because I know now, it makes everything a lot easier. Obviously, that's part of the journey as well. I just want to come back because you mentioned there's a couple of key things. The first thing that we spoke about was the one piece of knowledge at a time. And there are a lot of people out there who overconsume and they're worried about like the second step and the third step and so on. The second thing that was really important was your decision making. From the first time we met, I tend to spend time with decisive people because I find indecision is the killer of dreams.
Speed is everything.
Speed, 100%. Well, not the drug, but the speed in execution, speed in decision making. And you would see this in your practice as well, where people come in and they tell you about what they want, and then, well, maybe not so much anymore because you're not on the tools, but people tell you about what they want and you give them what they want, and then they still need to think about it and they got to decide, and then they're going to go ask their mother's sister's brother. How did you become so decisive, and how did you realize that the decisiveness and speed was the key?
I'll tell you right now, most people have no fucking idea what they want.
100%.
They come in and go on this, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever said. But you know what I realized over a long period of time? Ask them a lot of questions so they answer their own, so they say it out loud and go, that is fucking stupid. But
can you give us an example?
Like, for example, someone comes like, hey, my mate's been flipping houses. I'd really love to flip houses, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's look at your scenario. All right, well, you don't have this, you don't have that, but it's like, I start to ask questions like, all right, cool. So when are you actually going to, to flip a house, when are you going to do the renovations? Oh, I'll use my team. I said, are you going to do it on the weekends or are you going to do it during the week? They're like, oh, I'll probably do it on the weekends. Didn't you say you got Auskick and you got this and this and this? Yeah. All right, so you're going to do it after hours? Like, you just keep asking questions. And I'm like, but if you have to spend your boys on the weekends and pay them double rates or during the week, are you going to lose business? Is your business going to be affected? Like, do you have the facility? Like, you just keep pulling on it and you're like, you know what? That's probably not the best idea. I said, nah. I said, how about you just buy some property that's, you can sit on for a little while. And when you get a time back, you can go to that property, maybe develop it. Like, you just got to just keep asking the question, because half the time someone's ideas are someone else's. Or when someone comes back and they're like, oh, this is what I want to do. And they start to use words where I can tell them that's straight out of the fucking depression, and it sounds like your fucking granddad said that. Like, you can hear someone's vocabulary and their belief systems by the way they talk.
Yep.
And I pull them up straight away. I'm like, were you in World War II, or did you lose everything in the fucking 80s? Like, you can hear like fear when someone talks about the way the comments they make about money and finance.
Yep.
And I pull them straight up, and they usually laugh like, yeah, I know. I said, and I say, look, no offense. Everyone before, all our parents and before them, they did the best they could with the information they had available. They didn't have everything in their hand that we have. I said, but to be honest, would you swap financial places with anyone that's giving you advice? No. I said, don't fucking listen to them. Like, you got to be like pinch of salt, everyone. Words of wisdom, pinch of salt. Your accountant, pinch of salt, especially if he's a very reserved person. Their job is to answer your questions. But if you ask them a question, what do you think? Fucking what kind of advice are you going to get? Like, the worst advice in the world. You got to go, this is what I want to do. Can you please compare A versus B for my situation? Not, do you think I should do this? And they're going to say fucking no. Like,
That's super interesting because I would love to go down that path. We have a lot of business owners who are listening and a lot of highly driven people. But I used to have this quite a bit on sales calls and I didn't know how to overcome it. Now I do. And I'm a bit like you, just straight down the line. Like, what do you fucking want? Because a lot of business owners will go, especially when they're smaller, they go, look, I need to grow. I want to grow my business, yada, yada, yada. And, it'll come to Odyssey or something and they go, I'm just going to bring my like accountant or my finance person. And I'm like, oh, do you know how fucking stupid that is? I'm like, think about the identity and the personality of someone who's in accounting versus someone who's trying to scale a business. One is like balls to the wall, high risk, like let's fucking go for it. Because the chances of you succeeding in business is pretty fucking low, right? Just in general, if you look statistically. But you got someone in accounting who works for an accounting firm who's now giving you advice about your money and finance.
be like taking your wife to a Bucks party, wouldn't it? It'd be fucking stupid.
Well, that's why I'm asking for you because I used to have this come up a lot and I would say, right, does your accountant, are they the business owner? Well, no. Okay. So how well do they know, like what's their decision-making strategy when it comes to risk? Are they high risk, low risk? Oh, I don't know.
If they were
you
high
need
risk,
to fucking know.
If they were high risk, they probably wouldn't have been an accountant. Really, it's usually a certain type of person that becomes an accountant. They have a certain set of skills, but generally those people, a lot of them, majority of the ones, I deal with accountants every fucking day, and I reckon I could honestly say 5 or 6 that I've met have looked forwards, have a set of thinking that aligns to an entrepreneur and a business owner. And I speak to hundreds of accountants, and I've had probably 5 or 6. I go, I like your fucking energy. They understand, they get it. But in saying that, a lot of people do need an accountant that's a fucking handbrake. Otherwise, we would do dumb shit.
For good entrepreneurs, yes. For shit entrepreneurs who are fear-driven, I don't know. Because like, so you're like me, right? Where you're a bit of a schizo and we're like accelerator. Foot flat to the floor, if you drive off a cliff, you're like, oh, fucking, we'll land all right. We'll figure it out. Well, we'll
land on our feet.
Yeah, we'll be all right. But that sometimes can unsettle us or, it can become a bit unhinged. And so I can definitely be unhinged. So I need the people around me who make me think different. But what I've found is a lot of people are like those fear-driven business owners, like the tradies and stuff like that. Not all of them. There's a lot of good ones out there who run good businesses, but there's a lot out there who are like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know, like I just want safe and I just want to be comfortable and all this shit.
Go work for someone else, pussy.
I couldn't have said it better myself. We're going to chop that. That should be the intro of the video. Go work for somebody else, you pussy.
Stop being a little bitch.
Well, I agree with that because there is a level, like you're
the hardest thing about starting a business is starting it. That you did that. Like that is the hardest thing you ever do. Like where do they get this over time? They kind of, it just changes. Something changes, but it could be something in their personal life or they don't have the right information. Like what makes someone change that to they're fucking cautious about all the little dollars and cents, and they usually have the same issues: hiring, firing, process. They get there and they get stuck. They're the people who need it the most.
I agree. Well, I already know what it is because this is why you're different and I'm different. A lot of good business owners are different. It's that ability to keep resetting goals and pushing your targets. You were talking about it before, right? Where you were like, I've sort of hit where I'm at and I got a little bit comfortable and now it's like I need to set some bigger goals. And next year, like we're going bigger or this year, new financial year.
I didn't get these goals. I fell short and I love it because they were fucking all they were pretty big goals.
They were big goals.
I fell short by a smidge and I'm like, cool. But I realized like every goal I've ever set, I've hit. This is the first one I didn't hit. I'm like, all right, well, I need to fucking up it a little bit now.
Yep. I think that's the difference is because I see this happen quite a lot where you'll have a business owner, and I actually went through this personally, so I can speak from experience. I wanted to have $1 million business. That was like my goal when I first started. And then once I cranked my first $1 million, we just flatlined. We flatlined for a couple of years and I couldn't figure out why I was flatlining. But it was because unconsciously I'd always reinforce like, I just want to do $1 million, just want to do $1 million, just want to do $1 million, just want to do. And like, we were doing $1 million, 1.2, 1.5, but it just sort of sat there for ages. And I couldn't figure out why, like it was just shit. but it was because the goal wasn't big enough. I didn't reset and stretch myself. I needed that energy of being like, man, I'm so far away. Like we got to go and push again. I think that's what a lot of business owners do. Like they'll say, I just want to leave my job and I want to start a business so I can be comfortable. But then they make just enough money where they're comfortable. They got their caravan and whatever the fuck little toys that they got. But it's still shit. They don't have staff. They don't have management. They don't have system and process and infrastructure. So every day is just, it's shit, but it's not bad.
I know a lot of those ones, and they got what they wanted. They got the caravan. They got the life. They don't want a big team. Don't go looking for a solution then. Just enjoy it. Like you have to accept. Like what I was saying something the other day. It's okay if you don't want to go after it. Don't worry about it. So like if you're okay with that, don't whinge that you want to do more. Just don't go looking for people like you to fix it. Like if you're okay managing a small team, making just enough money to get by, you don't want to buy any portfolio, and if retirement doesn't scare you, cool. Just do your thing. We can't have every fucking the world full of Pete's and fucking Mojos. Like that's okay, but I think it comes down to like you just got to work out what you want, because I worked out pretty early, and it's like a part of my goal setting I learned and consuming knowledge. If you set a goal to read 100 books, you'll never read again. So like you've got to be, I'm completely okay to keep chasing goals forever. Materialistic goals, family goals, they will just keep moving, and I'm okay with that, because once I get to it, I know the feeling of it is not as good as what I thought it was going to be, and I just moved the needle, you know. I just moved into a new house in Semaphore, and the second I got there, I got, oh fuck, no. I've just gone like, now I've set the bar. I said, when I go to the Gold Coast, I'm gonna have to be on the Esplanade. It means I need to go fucking X my business by this many, because I've set it. And I go, that excites me, because now I've got a reason to go set that bar. Like I want to do maybe 3.5 rev next year. Like I set the goal. I just pick a number. I go, oh, I don't, when I set a goal, I don't think about what I need to do yet. I just pick the fucking number. I go, all right, that's the goal. And then I'll see how a few months go, then I start to reverse engineer it and go, fuck, I actually got to hit this. And I'm like, oh, because when I set the goal to do 2 mil revenue, I was like, I reverse engineered it, or 250 in settlements. I reverse engineered it, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And I'm like, fuck, why did I say that on social media? Embarrassing. And then fuck, I fell 6 mil short, and I fell 50 grand short. And I was like, fuck, I actually almost got there. So like now I've picked a new number, and I'm like, all right, that seems a bit audacious. I'm like, cool, see what happens. But those goals, after a while, like the first few goals were everything to me. Like I would be stressing. Now it's like I've said it, it doesn't consume me, but it's my driving. I think it might have been because a lot of the time, most of your life, you're moving away from pain. And if you get to a certain point, you see it. Like I probably being in that room, I learned it the most. You sabotage yourself back to a point where you can handle it.
In Odyssey.
Yeah,
Yep.
doing that. So going back to pain, and then you rebuild again, go back to pain, rebuild again. It's probably why CEOs have like 7 wives over their lives or something like that. Now, like the goal is not everything. Like it's just a star, because it's not about the money or the revenue. It's the person I need to be, the people I need in place to hit that goal. Like, and if I hit that goal, I'm going to have all the other things I want. But to get to that goal, I need to have good relationships, good all this, and like all my skills have to increase, my social skills, my business skills, teaching, coaching. So the goal is a revenue goal, because if I get to that, the person I need to be, I know in my head, I already know who I need to be, what my life looks like. And then I'm just gonna, every day, am I moving closer to that? You know what, I might go a week and not think about it, but I must continuously think about it subconsciously, because I look at the fucking business now and I'm like, fuck, we're doing some fucking numbers, and it's fucking humming. And now look at the pipeline. I'm like, I don't even know who half these fucking names are. They're just loans settling left and right. And I'm like, this is fucking killer. Like,
that's
so
awesome.
like it took years to get there. But I think a lot of it comes down to like decisiveness and being an Odyssey. You know, we were sitting in there, like I didn't even have a business. Sometimes I was too scared to ask a question, because there's people in there's business with hundreds of $1 million, and I'm just sitting there with like trying to think out, what fucking business am I going to start?
Yeah, I was going to say, but by the way, we do have like the majority of people in there do $1 million plus. And very rarely do I let anyone in these days that are doing under $1 million unless they are hungry. Because that keyword's hunger. When I met you, you sat down straight in front of me and you're like, right, I need to change. This is what has to change. What do I do? And I was like, you need to do Thrive Time. You're like, yep, fucking paperwork done, sign credit card on, boom.
I was like, what else? And I was like later, and I reckon like a week later, I'm like, Odyssey, yeah, I'll do that too.
Yeah, you were just like, and you made shit happen. You didn't have the money. You were working at Vizzy. Like you were so far away, but you were just super decisive. And I was like, this guy's going to go somewhere.
And that's where someone says, oh, they hum and ha on something. Because I see it all the time. It could be anything, trying to grow their business. And I'm like, they say like, oh, I'm like it's a business expense. Just fucking do it. Like what everyone gets so like hung up on money. Like money, easy come, easy go. Like once you kind of like remove that connection, it's a commodity that you get for adding value. You take the commodity, you send it back out in the world to try to make more money. If that's investing in property, investing in your business, doing some
Invest
family
in
holidays,
yourself.
just anything. Like what do you need the money for? It's just a fucking piece of paper, a digital thing. Just get it, do something with it. Like I don't know why people get so hung up on it. And like there was like, I've always had this fear of money. There's so many times I started this business with it, like I was going down and going up and like just humming down. Like I've only just got to a point where I've gone, I literally thought, I didn't even think when I retired, my life would look like this. And I went through that and I said, I could do nothing for the rest of my life and I could live very, very comfortable and buy anything I want, but just for the business growing at like even at 10%. Like we've been growing over 100% every year. Like I could like dial it right back and then just dial right back and I could live a very comfortable life. Now I choose to go out there and I wanted to kick all these goals. So like that pain has now turned to like inspiration. Now I can do what I want to do, which is long form content, do a lot more content, and just use social media and to grow the business and to grow like a personal brand for myself. Because I like talking shit. I like filming. I like hanging out with cool people.
Mate, we both do it well together. You mentioned there about not being attached to money, and I find that from my experience as well, working with the masses of people that I've worked with, I find that there's this commonality of where people become emotionally attached to money, whereas like really when you pull up all your financials and everything like that, it's a scorecard. But I also think it's like sport. If you watch most people with sport, like I watch people every weekend go to the footy, get upset, they're fucked off for a week, like, oh, your team shit, you fucking wankers, and they're angry, they're pissed off for a whole week. I'm like, cool. What would you do to change that? Well, I can't do nothing to change the fucking how they play. They're shit. Okay, well then why are we emotional about it? But so many people get hung up on it. But I think it's the same with money as well. It's like, if there's nothing you can do to change it, then why are you emotional about it? And if you can change it, then why don't you just change it?
In saying that, like obviously being in finance, I see under the blankets every day. I see what people spend their money on. Like you obviously, when we're talking about someone who relationship with money, if you are earning on a pay slip and you are defined by how much you work per hour, your life is completely different. Like we're talking to people who are business owners who have the ability to earn more money exponentially. So when we're talking about,
I disagree with that though, because everyone who works like in our team, I have never ever capped anyone financially. If you add more value to the company, if you're growth driven, if you're ambitious, if you can solve problems within the organization, you're always going to keep earning more and more and more and more until we become a partner or profit share, or because like I don't want you to go anywhere. But I think people, I don't know, it's like that analogy with a horse, right? Or an elephant, you tie the elephant up to the stake, you put it stands there for a while, it tries to move, can't move, and then eventually it gives up. And then you can take the rope off of the stake and the elephant just thinks that it's tied down. I think a lot of society are like that, where they feel tied down and they go, well, there's nothing I can do but you can. It's about the value.
I think to reframe that was the person who chooses to be in that job, and like if they're on a set salary and their life costs X, they're going to hold onto their money a lot tighter. They have to spend it sparingly, and obviously shit's expensive, the world's expensive. So when it comes to a business owner, and like as much as there's a cost of living crisis, no, we have a fucking spending crisis. I don't see the bottom 5%, which is the people on the settling who would be doing it fucking tough, rising costs everywhere. But I see what people spend their money on every fucking day, and the people wax so much fucking money. Like everyone waxes so much money, especially business owners, because they put it all through the business. Because I see that shit and I'm like, you need to fucking separate this, because like half the shit you can't even claim. Like people run their businesses out of their same account they live out of, and I'm like,
I've never done that before.
But like there's a point where it's like when they push back on something, like how many times like, oh, why do I have to pay this much to set up a fucking trust or something? I'm like, I just seen you spend like $7,000 on a flight to Fiji and you put it through the business. Like, it's funny how someone's like, oh, I don't want to spend that because it's not important to them.
Yeah.
But it's like they'll wax money on other ways, or they'll just go buy new utes, new cars, new trucks.
Brother, you're an electrician and you go to Fiji. Like, how's that a business expense? Oh yeah, man, I'm going over there to check out some wires.
And it just comes down to like, it's the relationship with money, like you've got to look at it as it's a commodity. And look, there's only a certain amount of money you need. Like, and I realized like after a certain amount, like you just kind of like I realized where I am right now, I'm very comfortable and I could buy whatever I want, but I don't even really spend money. I reckon if you looked at my bank, I just buy coffee all the time. Like I probably spend less on just buy plain clothes now. Like I found like once you kind of get there, you're like, oh, cool. I don't need to buy anything anymore. I will do stupid fucking sporadic purchases because I want to, but you kind of like start to have a better relationship with it. It's just a tool. But at the start of your business, and like I see this all the time, like I help a lot of business owners go from PayYG through to starting a business, but it's usually like they usually buy a couple of properties and they go like, oh, what are your goals? Because I say, look, your wealth creation ability is directly correlated to how much tax you pay. If you don't pay any tax, you don't buy any property. Essentially 9 out of 10 times how it works because you can't get money into the bank to buy property. So I say, look, we can only buy, this is the last purchase. You've got 3 properties. They're like, how do I get a 4th? I said, you can't. They're like, why? I said, you can't change your income by 20 to 30%. Like it's impossible. This is where you're at. You need to start a business. We've had this conversation maybe for about 18 months. I said, look, what we're going to do is you're going to get this last purchase. On the way out, get 100 grand, get 150 grand, pop it in the offset, start up a company. Because I always go introduce to an accountant. That's good. I said, you can go get the work. If you've got 100 grand buffer, 150 grand buffer, it's going to relieve the financial cost for 6, 12, 18 months. You know, then you can go start your business the right way. So I help new business owners start their business the right way, send them in the right directions for coaching or for mentoring. But like getting off the ground, like most people's thing is their relationship with money. So if you can start a business with 150 grand, I say to that client, go put 30, 40 grand in the business account the day you start. Put yourself on a salary straight away. Go put yourself on a payslip straight away, set up a company, go get all the business you want. You know, they've got 6 to 12 months of stuff. That person will go out, and I've done it multiple times, and I reckon like I've had plumbers and sparkies, and some of them did 250K profit in their first 12 months because I set them up as a company. I showed them how a company tax rate is better. No cashies, through the books. They put themselves on a salary because they were used to a salary for the whole life.
How many times have you had that come in where someone's like, oh yeah, I'm making like 200, 220 a year, and you're like, not by your tax form.
It's most
and they're
tradies,
like, yeah, but it's cash.
Most tradies do 80K, but I usually can like just show them the way. Like they have a goal of X, and I'm like, well, we're here, and there's a limiting here. So it's just giving the education around how to do that, and it is the relationship with money. So like getting that out of the way, and it's usually if you've got a problem with money, it can usually be solved by getting it from somewhere else. So like if you are going to start a business or you're going to do something, use the equity in your home and sit it in the offset, and you go, look, cool, couple $100 grand there. Doesn't work out, quick, go get your job back, you're good. So it just comes down to it. And like it's just getting through that relationship with money. Because that's usually, like you said, I don't want to do something because of X. It's because they don't feel comfortable or their partner doesn't feel comfortable. So I say, well, if you've got a couple $100 grand sitting there as an emergency fund, then they go, oh yeah, then we're good. So you just got to figure out why can't you get past that and figure out where is the blockage as well. Like you would see it all the time.
Oh,
I've got to go talk to my wife.
Yeah. So they wrote, yeah.
It's like banging your head on a wall all the time.
It is, but it also separates the haves from the have-nots and the people who become versus the people who are the wannabes. And, you know, I see this all the time and you see this as well because you've got nice cars and shit. And so it's sort of almost like a status, right? That you're successful, which I don't agree with because, I mean, you can go out and buy a supercar and own not a fucking thing and live in a 4-bedroom house with 6 people and you can still have a supercar. It doesn't really, it just means that you've just used your money in a certain way to do something, right? But I mean, most of the times you've got to be making some decent income.
Yeah, but it's pretty fucking, I've got a mate trying to finance a Lambo right now. It's pretty fucking hard.
Well, it is because I mean, I get dickheads online who are like, oh man, anyone can fucking buy a supercar. You just got to take out a loan. It's like, yeah, but the longest car loan is normally 5 years on average, unless you're going to put it on your home loan or whatever. But let's say 5 years on average, if the car's $500,000, that's $100 grand a year just for the car. But then you've got to pay interest on it, plus insurance, rego, everything like that. How are you figuring out those numbers? And they they don't even think about it because it's just they just don't think. I mean, they just
you try to put no money down on a 300, 400, 500K car. You got to do full dog. Like you ain't getting fucking. When I bought the R8, like I just squeezed that through as a low dog. But like as you push past, you need to actually have a fucking business. Like you need to be able to produce a lot of money. America's very different though. They just fucking palm out to everyone. I wish it was like that. That'd be fun.
Or I guess over here they're starting to rent them a little bit more and stuff like that. But I mean, shit, it's hard to rent a supercar for, what have I had mine now? 5 years, 6 years. I've had mine 6 years now. Plus it's got Mojo number plates on it. Like it's,
And then I learned that, I will never put, if I had my choice, I'll never put money down for a car, ever. I would rather finance the thing completely because I would rather put my capital into something that grows. And look, I've come to the fact that, you know, I've just bought the RSQ8, but when I get my next car, I'm always going to have some sort of supercar, and I am happy to finance it. And then after 2 or 3 years, fuck it off, get another one. I'm always, and you know what? I've allocated $5,000-$10,000 a month to a supercar because 5-year-old Pete didn't give a fuck about business and property. 5-year-old Pete loved fucking cars. So I'm always going to have this allowance in my life to do something like that. And I'm okay fully financing because, like, yeah, you know, might drop 200K on a 500K car and it might save you fucking $2,000 a month. Well, I could take the 200K car, put it into some property, do a development and go make more money. So like, that's how I justified it. So like, I've got, there's many ways to do it, but you'd be fucking stupid to drop cash on a car. Like you'd be fucking.
well, I dropped a fair bit on mine, a good chunk change, but I also knew how much I wanted to invest in things like that. So I was making sure I was getting better return on the investments than I would have been if I just paid cash for the car. But why do you think that is? Like so many people,
it's going to be important to you though. Like how many people go buy a fucking supercar and they go, it wasn't as good as I thought. I said, well, you should never bought it. You bought it for everyone else.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I 100% agree with you.
I start my car like a little kid.
Same.
Every fucking time. I fucking love it. Same. And you know what? And as much, it doesn't matter how much wealth you can create. There's not much out there. If you don't have like, it might not be a supercar or it might be something. If you don't get that kind of excitement, what's the point of doing it all for? Like, it's great to have financial security and go on family. It might be just family holidays, taking your kids away every 8 weeks or something. Like, you need that one thing that just fucking like excites you. Why the fuck would you penny pinch invest for your whole life to get that fucking thrill? You got to have that one thing that makes it all worth it. Not financial security and like sitting on millions of dollars in the fucking super. Like, well, it's a fucking waste. Like, you've got to have that one thing. And for me, it's starting a car. Like, just got this fucking, what do you call it? The titanium system on the RSQ8. I didn't have it on straight away. I put it on and started. I'm like,
it's good. I heard it when I walked out the front.
I had the downpipes on there, but I put the system on there and I'm like, it's like having the R8 again. I said, I love that. That's my one thing that I will always have. I'll always have some kind of car. Like, I got the RSQ8, didn't quite get the itch, so the Lambo will be next. But like, that's my one thing, and everything else is just a bonus. But you were about to say about what were you going to say?
You sort of capped on it before, but there's like these patterns that people have with money, because you brought up multiple times about people's relationship with money, how they understand money, whether it comes from their parents and so on. What are the most common things that you see working in finance that people come in with that essentially is going to keep them broke most of their lives?
Listening to other people. You'll sit there and you'll see someone go, you'll see 10 different opinions. Let's just stick to the supercar thing, because that is a obscene purchase in anyone's life that most people will never do. You'll see someone comment who's a square ass motherfucker and go, you shouldn't buy your supercar until you can pay for it cash and you've got 5 million assets. The fuck would I want to do that for? I'd probably be bold and fat. Or do you buy it now?
Or 70 and can't get in there.
It's like, well, for me, like, I would rather buy it as soon as fucking possible because that's my enjoyment. I don't care for fuck. Like, I don't care if I have 10 million assets or 100 million assets. All I want is the car. Why would I want to wait to a certain point? And then someone will weigh in their opinion. Oh, you know, but the money you spent on that, you could have invested it and got a return. Cool, you do that. No, you can't. How's shut up sound? So like, everyone gets their opinion. You just got to do what you want to do and lock in, because for me, the R8 was the goal. Like that was my goal, to get that. So I did all that grinding, and that was my first like little materialistic, yes, I did it. And now I've got like, cool, that's all I want to work towards. But like, it isn't my driving factor. It's some days I wake up, you know what, I have to admit, having a bad day in the fucking office and going and getting in a supercar after work makes your day a little bit better. Not gonna lie, I'd rather cry on a fucking Bentley than in a bus.
Yes.
So like, that's my why. And everyone needs their why to get up. But when it comes down to it, like, everyone, say someone has a goal to do something, don't listen to other people's opinions, because of social media, which is great because I just was picking up the car from K-Tech and there's a 19-year-old there picking up his fucking McLaren, stage 2 system, carbon fucking body kit. He'd never driven it apparently. Wow. Because he couldn't drive it yet, he hadn't got the right license. And he was like 19 and this car's worth 450K and he'd never driven it. And I'm like, the fuck? And he's like, yeah, he fucking, I don't know. I didn't hear what he did. It was probably like something crypto or something like that. But like ridiculous. Like, the social media, it's a curse, because we've got 19-year-olds who can use social media and everything available to us to go make a shitload of money to buy a fucking McLaren that he couldn't even drive. All right. I fucking loved hearing that. I loved that.
Yep.
Then you've also got someone sitting there and looking at people on fucking private jets and stuff and their expectations of what life should be like, which creates all these other fucking issues. So back in the day, we didn't have any of that. So people can't be excused for how they turned out, you know, and also bring it back a little bit. Superannuation wasn't around to like early 2000s. So a lot of people right now are retiring with fuck all because there was nothing for them. But right now you have everything available for you, which gives you, it's funny because it gives them a sense about money in a way that it's easy come, easy go. But when they've got it in their hands, they can't let go of it. So like growing up in this day and age with the social media, it's whatever you're dialing into. Like someone's like, I've actually met more people in their 21 to 23 with like 300 or 400K in the bank. I'm like, where the fuck did you get this from? And they're like, we've just been saving. I'm like, how long? Like what, there's no nightclubs, you got nothing better to do? Like I'm seeing a lot more people financially responsible than I've ever seen. Like they've just everyone's got so much money. Like they're just piling up money and there's not help from parents. Like they're saving $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. So when someone says like, you know, rising costs, I said, no, your life's expensive because you choose it to be. Now that's not to say that someone is single income, 5 kids in a situation. Like I'm talking about people that can change their circumstances. I had a family who sold their family home, went into a rental, got the money, and now they're about to buy their 3rd investment property. Because they go, we're not going to get here having this fucking mortgage. They sold their home with kids to go into a rental, which people go, oh, I'm not doing that. Got to ask to put something on the wall. They just changed it. They didn't even tell me like, hey, we sold the house. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, let's buy some property. Like that person wants it bad enough. So like you just, and they've been watching the right information on their phone. So whatever you're consuming all day is going to dictate how you see the world. If you want it bad enough, how many people reach out like, I love watching your shit. You know, you're inspiring me. At the start, I don't care about your fucking ice bath. That's what people used to say. Now it's like, I love what you're doing. I love what you're sharing it. You know, I can do it too. Now, like, that's why like it's an energy transfer. I'm transferring good energy out. But if you're sitting there consuming bad energy, that's all you're gonna consume. It's like fucking like mold grows in the dark. So that's how it's like a bigger fork in the road around the money perceptions and how they do it. And you know, you've got your grandparents in your ear, your dad in your ear, then you've got the social media in front of you. Like it's very hard to dictate like what is right from wrong. So you got all these fucking opinions, but at the end of the day, fuck them. Would you swap places? No, shut up.
It's hard. It was, I guess, hard for me when I was younger to understand that because
we had fucking DVDs and fucking like we did.
VHS made my day. Yeah. No, I was in the DVD era, but I guess I was lucky enough to go through some really bad phases in my teen years where I got to the point where I almost ended my life, and that was because I was listening to everyone else, and my realization was I couldn't make other people happy, which was like my parents and shit. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to live for me. So after that, I just started living for me. So I never really listened to that shit. But the amount of people I think that you'd probably come across and I come across who still have their parents yapping in their ears about what they should do. And I mean, I even saw it. We lived just down the road from you at Semaphore, like literally 6-7 houses down on the right-hand side when you walk out the front. And we rented there, right? It was like a 5 or 6 bedroom house, massive. They'd spent shit tons of money on, couldn't sell it because they'd overinvested and then the relationship fell apart. And so they didn't want to put it on the market, so they rented it out. We're running the whole company from there, and I think we were like claiming 80, 90% on tax because we're running the company out of the house and staff would come in and into the house. And so it was sort of like…
Renting is a lot easier to put through the fucking business than a fucking house.
Well, that was a thing, right? And I would have people would come to me and they're like, well, you can't be that successful because you still rent. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, how about you do you? And then all of a sudden we got our house that we bought now and we were lucky enough to…
We just sold ours and we rent vest now. I got no property in my name. They're all in trust companies and we rent. So like I practice what I preach. I did it because it's financially a way better. I can rent the house I want because the house I want to buy, you know, if I go to the Gold Coast, it's 6-7 million. But if I rent it, it's a bit more feasible. So like it's just figuring out what you want and not listening to everyone else. Everyone's like, rent money's dead money. I said, it is if you've got no fucking property. If you've got fucking bulk investment properties, who gives a fuck about rent money? Most of my clients who have the most property all rent because it's a lot easier. They're all like trade-based businesses. Their accountant can probably push a lot of it through the business.
Yep.
So it just comes down to like, everyone's just going to just tell everyone to shut the fuck up.
Well, you mentioned a couple of things there which I want to really highlight because you keep dropping bombs, but I want to highlight those bombs that you're dropping so that anyone who's listening to this hopefully can change a couple of, you know, thinking patterns that people have. So first of all, the key thing that's coming up is like fear. Most people listen to other people and then they operate out of fear. Would you agree that that's how most people operate, and that's going to be the thing that stops them from getting wealthy?
I don't think there's anything else to operate out of. Who else? What else are we going to listen to? Like every day you get up, you got your little bitch voice in your ear. You don't get that, you should go to the gym today. It's always, don't go to the gym today, stay in bed. Like who has a inspirational voice in the head? No, we've got someone who's trying to find the path of least resistance. So everyone is operating out of fear because there is no other emotion that's sitting there all day. It's always someone, don't cross the road, look here. Like you're going to have that, but people just get so consumed by it. Then you have kids, it gets worse. Don't go near the road, cunt. Don't do this, do this. Like your whole life is from a fear perspective, but people can't associate the difference. They don't have the awareness of it. And I think the most important thing that I'll circle back to what you said is fucking thrive time. Thrive time is the fucking key to working out where that sits. And most people, like I think it's, you know how I know thrive.
Do you know though, it's interesting because I went through a transition where I used to operate out of fear, whereas I don't have that anymore. I very rarely have fear in my head.
Fear and pain is the same. Well, when I say pain, like, and inspirational, it's the same thing. Fear was no money, no stuff. So like, it's the same kind of, the same yo-yo. But when we're talking about the parents, like everyone's gets most of their influence from their parents, their beliefs about money. After doing like Thrive Time, and I know Thrive Time's good because my brother used to say culty. He always say like, we're a cult gone hang out with you. He's like, fucking nah. He went to Thrive Time and he even shared on his socials the other day and I didn't even fucking know.
Kidding.
He goes, by far the best thing I've ever fucking done. And it sent him on a spiral to go chase what he loved, started a business, then went somewhere else. And he bagged me for years, did Thrive Time, and he even shared it because this is the best thing I've ever done. When you walk out of Thrive Time, you realize how fucked up the world is. And I feel sorry for all our parents, man. Like, when I look at it, like it's like life's an ant farm.
You've just sold the event. When you walk out of there, you realize how fucked up everything is.
The world is an ant farm. And imagine your parents growing up where they didn't even pick babies up. Like the world was so fucked up. Imagine what that did to your parents. And then your parents, like what parent, there's not many dads or dads that are like loving. They're like kind of like stand out. Like everyone has that. They're all the fucking same. And they push that emotional onto their kids and kids. So everyone's like fucked up. You realize that when you start to become so aware of what people's values are. And then when you start to talk to like, especially older people, they say comments. You're like, you know, you can see it straight away, but you realize how fucked up everyone is. You come out of Thrive Time, you're like, our parents are just doing the best they could, but everyone has got so much fucking baggage and they're all mentally like fucking borderline because we don't, no one knows how to process emotions. It's a bit rich coming from me, but no one has to actually have conversations. Everyone's just running around in this little rat race and like, you kind of step back, you're like, you actually sit back, you're like, wow, everyone's pretty fucked up. And then I remember when I was a kid, I can't wait to grow up and get the world. And you get here, you're like, this is just a fucking free for all. Literally. Like Thrive Time makes you realize that it's a fucking game changer. Well, and you brought it back.
I did, yeah. Well, because there was a petition that we got when I cancelled Thrive Time.
Thrive Time and the podcast. There it is, guys.
A lot of people signed a petition. They're like, you got to bring back Thrive Time. Like, I got people who need this shit. And I was like, I don't want to. And same as a podcast, you know, when I had my old podcast and Jess was like, look, everyone keeps asking for it. You got to start one.
Got to make it stringent, like tighter and keep out the fairy.
Well, we have.
Not like fairy, but like weirdo, fluffy motherfucker, blue hair. They try to come solve
if you
their
got
problems.
blue hair, so we'll take you on.
The people who come, you know, all right.
With Odyssey, we're strict on that now. Like I have a no dickhead policy. If you come in and you cause shit in the community or you bitch and moan about what other people are doing and stuff in the community, you're out. Like I'll give
retract
you cash back.
all my fucking comments. What's that person?
Too late, mate. Too late.
Nah, I don't give a fuck. What's that person who comes in and you know, when I did Thrive Time, there's a couple in there where they have no fucking idea what they're like. They don't have any problems. They just want to like just come and like hang out with people with other problems. There's a certain type of person.
I call them fluffy duffies. They're all the ones who all they talk about is trauma and you know. But then when you try to help them, they know everything. And I've read a book on that and I know this and I just relax.
There's nothing worse than meeting someone who's like, I've done every fucking course. I said, how's it going? Because it's not worked.
Yeah. But yeah, so Thrive Time, you mentioned how important that is. And by the way, tell your brother thank you because I didn't see that on socials. Why do you think Thrive Time is so powerful? What was the thing that for you just went shit? Because you refer a lot of people.
Thrive Time's like, everyone talking about like business coaching. I said, there's no point trying to do business coaching or anything like that until you work out your fucking head. Thrive Time's like everything's 99% mindset. If you can't get past the shit that you cover off of that, the human behavior, the psychology, the wiring of the brain, if you don't understand how the brain works, and I'm not going to say that you remember that for all the time, but you can go back and you think about things a bit different. When you actually work out your behavior and that stupid fucking tool you got that I fucking hate.
The process.
It's fucking annoying. I didn't get the learning
shit.
till the second time, but you know why I didn't like it? Because it's very fucking uncomfortable because it made grown men cry. Like it's fucking very, very uncomfortable. But when I got that thing, I was like, it absolutely rewired my whole brain because I was always trying to say, what was my thing that I learned was whenever I'm distracted, it's because I really wanted to be somewhere else because I had ADHD. So whenever I was distracted, I wanted to be somewhere else. And then I was always annoyed that I was distracted, but I wasn't aware that I should just go do the thing that I wanted to do. And I was just like, oh, I get it now. Like,
It's an epiphany.
It's an epiphany. Like every time I'd be like, why am I distracted? Beat myself up. But it's just because I was thinking about that. And why can't I do that? You know why? Because I was in a relationship I didn't like. Well, it wasn't serving me. I was into things I didn't like. So I go, oh. And then I literally went home, got divorced, quit my job and started a business.
They come to Thrive Time.
Thrive Time's not all happy endings, baby. It is now.
Well, I think the reason why a lot of people have avoided over the years because
Comfortable as fuck.
yeah, and you've referred a lot of people, and there's a lot of, I guess people out there who they say they want shit, but they don't want to do it. It's the same as all the fat people who go, you know what, I just can't lose weight. And it's like, have you gone to the gym? Well, yeah, but and they've got an excuse. Well, do you eat better? Well, no, right. There's always an excuse. And I think Thrive Time is the mental gym. It's the place where the whole reason why I created that was because it was the thing that set me free in my life. It was the thing that gave me clarity. I don't try to live how anyone else wants me to live. I live how I want to live. And this is the reason why I coach people who, are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year and also have business partners who are rich listers and shit now, is because I've just always done me. And I got asked this the other week, actually someone up in the Gold Coast who I caught up with who's a developer. He's like, why, there are obviously people that you work with who are way more successful than you. Why do they work specifically with you? Because I don't really know, right? Because you're like, if I'm going to work with you and my business is bigger than yours, then why would I work with you? And I said,
I fucking hate that mentality, eh?
well, this is the interesting thing. And I just looked at him and I smiled and I said, because my life's better than theirs. And he went, huh? And I said, well, I just enjoy life way more than I do. I have something that they've always wanted. They might have more money, but I enjoy life more. I got better relationships. I have a better life, better relationship. What do you want? Like if you're just here,
why are you here? There's something drawing you to me.
If you're just here and we're having this conversation and your number one objective is just to make shit tons of money, I'm not your guy. That's it. But if you want to get clear around what drives you and you want to understand how to get, your fucked up head not being fucked up anymore and, doing stupid shit and destroying shit around you, then maybe I'm your guy.
Well, most people can make a shitload of money because that's what they're fucking good at. It's everything else. Like how many times do you see someone's business grows, but then you find out that their fucking turnover of staff is fucking like 50% higher than everyone else's. They're fucking chaotic. They're psychotic. They don't know how to talk to people. I'm not one to say that my communication is great. I'm great at asking questions deliberately, but if you ask anyone in my office, I say fucking something and they're like, the fuck you talking about? And then I go, try this. Like it's when you're it's hard to say because I'm obviously talking from a point where my life's changed dramatically. Everything in my life has improved year on year. But when you're in a moment of being a business owner and shit goes hectic, you revert back to those old habits very quickly. And then you will go, oh, all right, well, why did I think like that? So it doesn't replace you. You just step back and go, all right, well, maybe I'll do that differently. So it's not like something you're erasing the old you. Those habits will always be there. But like you said, making a shitload of money. But how's your relationship with your staff, your kids? Are you a fat cokehead? Are you fucking on the verge of bankruptcy? Like there's always a fucking problem that need to be fixed. And it's like that mindset. It's like saying something like, oh, well, I see it all the time. Like you see a successful person. Oh, they got fuck all followers. Why would I listen to them? I said, what kind of a metric is that?
Yeah.
I get people like comment on my shit. Like what, I had some guy the other day, like, why the fuck would I listen to you? I know you. You don't have any property. I'm like,
I actually seen that post.
I'm like, video. I'm walking through an Airbnb that I'm fucking setting up, and I'm like, did I just walk into a house for no reason? Like, but then I realized like the people who spend time. That's like I see all the time in my industry. Oh, I looked up the bank. I looked at the reviews. Like when I recommend a home loan, and I'm like, who the fuck leaves good reviews for a bank. People only read bad reviews for every bank. So it's like, why would you like people who have time to whinge and shit like that will go leave sort of negative comments. So that's the same with social media.
Yeah.
It's always like one picture, fucking weird symbols in their thing. Oh, fuck, I almost went too far with that. And then they'll just write hate comments and I'm like, yeah. And you know, everyone's like, how do you put up with it? I said, could you imagine if no one commented? Like, that's scarier. I said, at least hate means I'm doing something. Like, you only get it if you're a fucking winner. So it's like, if you didn't get that, imagine posting videos every day for a year and no one commented.
I always think about that person though, and I think this is a great point, and we'll start wrapping up in a sec. But I think that's such an important thing as well. Like I look at your attitude and stuff, and you've got this energy and this zest for life and things like that. And you, like, I very rarely ever I'll comment on people's stuff. Like I saw one of my old clients when I was a personal trainer. They just had their 27th year wedding anniversary and it popped up on my socials just as you rocked up. And I like sent a congratulations and like, I think that's a fucking amazing effort. Like 27 years being married, that's huge. I actually think it's harder to be married for 27 years than it is to make fucking money in business. Like, that's easy. Marriage is tough. Like, if I'm going to write a comment, 99.999% of the comments that I've ever written have always been supporting or whatever. Because if I don't like something, I can go be pissed off by myself in my own room for 20 minutes and then I'm good to go again. But I think about that person who's just, there was a guy who would always comment on your shit, but he'd comment on my shit as well. Yeah, you know the guy.
Yeah.
And he's a panel beater or some shit. And I was just like,
it's like, you flirting?
What the fuck? Like, imagine being that guy. How shit would your life, like, not even how shit would your life be. You could have a great life, but your head would be so shit that the only way you could see the world is through your shit head.
Yeah, I screenshot it and then tag them and just hang shit on them.
I do that every now and again just to keep it rolling so it gets me metrics.
No, I need more. I want fucking more hate.
Yeah.
Fucking it's a good metric. The more people that hate on you, the better. But I don't know. But
it was interesting because I was talking to Troy Candy and this was like probably 6 months or so ago, and something that he said Adrian Portelli told him was, he said, I would fight with the people, like people talk shit and stuff, and I'd get on there and fucking in the comments and whatever. And one day Adrian stopped him and he goes, Adrian said, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I'm just responding to these. And he goes, yeah, but there's all these other comments of people who love your shit. How come you're not responding to them?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he said, who are the ones who buy your products, who add value to your life? Why do you comment on the negative ones? And so he said, never comment on the negative, only comment on the positive and shit like that.
Fuck, that's a good one.
Yeah. But I think that's also a direct reflection on why Thrive Time's so important, because when you realize that the world is just a direct reflection of your own head, like if you don't have money, it's because you don't have value. And if you don't have value, then you need to fucking figure out why not. And if you don't have good relationships, then you probably don't have a good relationship with yourself. So why not? And it all comes back to like what goes on inside your head. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you see it through your eyes. Because you'll see this in finance and stuff as well, right? Like at the moment, the housing market's starting to tighten up. Most of the market will freak out. Oh, the property and fucking... But the moment the news tell you that everyone's making money in property, everyone rushes to go do it. But that's the time you don't want to do it. So it's almost like you have to train your brain not to act the way everyone else acts if you want to get rich. Like I've made most of my money in the share market when shit got bad. And when the media are saying, oh, the market's crashed, fucking sweet, let's go.
Yeah, there's always some doom and gloom kind out there.
Yeah. And it's normally on the news. Anyway, Pete, where can people find you if they want to find out more about what you do and who you are, or they want to reach out to you for finance or anything? Where do they find you?
I predominantly use Instagram, just the Peter Savage Money. So I just use that as my tool. So I'm really I'm doubling down on the content. My job's to just educate as many people in the world to stop doing dumb shit with money, and business owners to stop being fuckwits. So like my job is to make sure that people, at the end of the day, I love just work, mainly business owners and property businesses. They want more out of life. My job's to show them how we can leverage the fuck out of that to get there. And that's just teaching them the right way, because there's kind of a gap between making it business and growing wealth. There's a bit of a gap there.
If you could tell anyone who's listening who has been sitting on the fence about Thrive Time or Odyssey, based on your experience, what would you say?
If I was in a business, if I was sitting on the fence, all I would know is the beating me is already in there. Like when you go in that room, the best of the best in that industry are already in that room. You've got some of the best of fucking solar, fucking electrical, like they're already in that room. So if someone's willing to do that, and you know what, some of these businesses as well, like some people are so far past it, they stay in that room because it's relevant. Like it's just proximity. Like a lot of business owners who are in that infancy stage where they're on the fence, they're going back to their circles, the circles of the friends who don't have goals and ambitions. If you want to change the outcome and change the trajectory, get around people who think about your goals, your ambitions, even if in the same industry. They're going to fucking say, I did this, I did this. If you can shave 10 to 15 years off of your business of heartaches, fuck ups, staffing issues, wouldn't you just want to pay money to forget the shortcut? It's like getting a ladder to get the footy down off the roof. Were you going to just scale the fence and jump up there? No, you use the ladder. Any means possible. There's no rules to life. Anything you can. You've got to just claw at it, fucking rape and pillage, do whatever you got to do to get to the
No
top.
rape and pillaging.
Rape and pillaging?
No,
Right, Vikings,
we
burn
leave
the
that out.
sheets. You got to do whatever it takes. No one's coming to save us.
I 100% agree with that. Pete, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you, mate. And your journey through my eyes has been very inspirational because it's people like you in the community who make what I do enjoyable because I get to see the outcomes of the hard work that I put in through the hard work that you put in. So thank you.
I appreciate it, mate. It's part of a journey, but we're just getting started.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.